Cheevo, guys!
What up, guys? This is
Cheevo, guys!
back here again with another achievement guide. Today, we're going to be focusing on Doug Hates His Job. This game was published and developed by Supervillain Games. Shout out to them. There's some really cool people. They even hooked me up with a cheat code that's going to be helping us a lot with these achievements. For the most part, this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game. You could definitely tell the developer put a lot of work into it, so the fact that they're only selling it for $6.99, I'd say it's a highly recommended purchase. Not just because of the experience that it offers for such a low price, but it's also a really easy completion. From what I know, this is a really small dev studio, so mad props to them. If you want to support them, I'm going to have the link to purchase the game in the description below. Now, this is the first of 2 video guides I'm going to be uploading for this game. This first guide is for the people that want to enjoy the full game experience. You know, being that you purchased it, you might as well enjoy the game experience. I highly recommend doing it this way. It's only going to take about an hour and a half to complete the game. That's if you're reading all of the dialogue. However, if you do want to just rush through it and get the easy 1000 gamer score, you can take advantage of skipping the dialogue and using the cheat to do the scene select. But yeah, that's going to be the next video for the quick method. This one is for the people that want to play through the full game and make sure that you get all of the achievements, because we do have some missable ones. Now, when I first played the game, I finished it and I missed 2 achievements. I was a little discouraged to play it all over again. However, I contacted the developer and they gave me a cheat for scene select, so you can go to the scene that you missed your achievement. I'm going to be having all of the details in a pinned comment below of which scene has each achievement. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and cover the cheat code real quick. So once you press A at the title menu, you're going to see your gamer tag. At this point, you need to press right bumper, RB, 10 times in a row, and then you need to press B. This will pop up the select scene menu, and you could choose any scene you want. So if you're looking at this video to try to find an achievement that you missed, make sure to check out the pinned comment. You can use the cheat and just navigate to the scene with the achievement that you missed. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So when you first start up the game, you could skip the dialogue 13 times, press A 13 times, and this is going to move us to the first dialogue option. Basically what's happening here is he's asking you who you think makes better movies, Marvel or DC. He's a Marvel fan and he wants us to agree with him. This is actually one of the first missable achievements, so make sure that you choose DC. If you choose DC, you guys are going to end up in an argument and you're going to end up fighting in the bathroom at work. If you end up choosing Marvel and you don't choose DC, you won't end up fighting him and you will miss this achievement and you'll have to go back and get it. Now, this is the first time we get introduced to the beat 'em up mechanics. You can press Y to kick or X to punch. You press A to jump and then B to block. You can also run by holding right bumper. Now, obviously, we're in the bathroom right now, so there isn't too much space to run, although once we get to the bigger levels, we'll have more room to charge up and run. These attacks do a lot of damage. If you run at them and then you punch or kick, it does a really strong punch or kick. You can also jump in the air and kick to do a drop kick. This also does a lot of damage. Now, assuming you beat up Josh in the bathroom for disagreeing with you, you're going to get our first missable achievement called Fanboy for 50 gamer score. At this point, we're going to end up in the street. We decided to leave work because we're thinking about quitting our job. Now, this is the first true level in the game. This is considered level 1. We're going to get an achievement after we complete it. There's a boss at the end of the level. Now, at first, you might die a couple times pretty quickly, but once you get a hang of the game, I think you will end up defeating the enemies pretty easily. You just need to make sure that you don't get sandwiched in between enemies or you'll die pretty fast. If I ever found myself sandwiched in between enemies, I would try to go to either the left or the right of them and then just keep walking until they all group up with each other, because once they're all grouped up with each other, you can attack them all at once. As you can see right here, I'm hitting them all at once because they're all bundled up. You can also break the crates. Sometimes they'll have weapons or coffee in them. Coffee is the health in the game, so if you pick one up, it's going to recharge your health. Other than that, if you're having trouble, as I mentioned before, you can kind of run away with them by holding right bumper, and then you can run up and do a charge attack, or you can just keep spamming punch or kick. Really, that works in the beginning levels. So after we defeat all of the enemies in the streets, we're going to advance and we're going to face our first boss. Now, this boss is like the fantasy football bro. His name is Paul. All you got to do is defeat this boss and we're going to get the achievement for completing level 1. Now, he doesn't take any damage in his head because of his helmet, so you can't do any drop kicks to this boss. I ended up just punching him a lot and that seemed to work. He didn't really block that much. So just keep spamming the punch button. You should be able to defeat him pretty easily. The only problem I found is the other enemies that get spawned and kind of start attacking you while you're trying to attack him. You do have a crate, I believe, with some health in it. And then we also have that random knife laying on the floor. You can pick it up by using the punch attack, and you can throw it using the punch attack. It doesn't do too much damage, but it definitely does more damage than just average punch or kick. Luckily, once you defeat those extra enemies, they don't respawn or anything like that. You just have to defeat the initial batch of them, and then just keep punching your guy. As you can see, the kicks to the head don't really do any damage, so don't bother doing those. Just keep punching him. I don't think he could really handle those. The boss at the end of the game isn't as easy. You can't necessarily just keep punching him. However, I do have a strategy for you guys to defeat him pretty easily. So we went ahead, defeated our first boss, and completed our first level. So this is going to unlock our next achievement. You're going to get it while you're laying down on the bed. That's for completing level 1. After that, it's going to pop up with a question. You have to decide whether you're going to suck it up and go to work or quit your job. You want to quit your job. This is another missable achievement. It's called Will Work for Coffee for 25 gamer score for quitting your job. You want to make sure you do that. That's going to give you a game over, so you're just going to go ahead and press X to restart, and this time you want to suck it up and go to work. I'm going to be fast forwarding through all of the dialogue in this video. You can also fast forward through the dialogue by spamming A. However, again, I recommend actually reading it and enjoying the game, being that you spent your money on it, but also it's just a really great indie game. Now in this level, we have the driving level. We're going to get an achievement called a quarter mile at a time. For completing this driving level, it's not too complicated. You just need to switch from lane to lane and dodge all of the cars. If you hit any of the cars even one time, you're going to crash and have to restart this section of the game. This section isn't too long. I just recommend cutting off the cars once you pass them. For the most part, they alternate lanes, but sometimes you'll have consecutive cars in the same lane, but for the most part they switch. So I just went back and forth, and if for some reason there was a second car, I just moved right out of the way. And there we go, that's our achievement for 25 gamer score. So next we're going to move on to some more dialogue. We're going to be talking to Craig in the elevator. I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward through this. After you're done talking to the receptionist that isn't really that great at her job, you're going to end up leaving work and you're going to run into this old man outside named Herbie. This is going to give us another dialogue choice. You can actually choose either one. No matter what, we're going to end up getting in a fight with a bunch of elderly people. So sadly, you're going to have to defeat a bunch of old men and grannies. Luckily, these old people don't take as much damage as, let's say, the enemies in the beginning of the game. However, there is a lot of them, and you have these random dogs that are walking through the park. I found that those were the most annoying things. The dogs had killed me a few times, but again, you could wipe out multiple enemies by running and then attacking, or doing some drop kicks. So just try to take advantage of those methods to complete this level. After you defeated your last granny or grandpa, you're going to get the No Respect achievement for 100 gamer score for completing the senior citizen level. No respect, guys. Beating up old people for achievements. How dare you? Alright guys, so next we're going to end up in this Splinter Cell Metal Gear style level where we're going to have to try to sneak into the office. You need to make sure that you press A to try to sneak in. I'm not too sure what happens if you press B, but I'm pretty sure that you have to press A to try to sneak in. I think this is another missable one. Now, I recommend just following the path that I take in the video. That glowing blue area is where we have to head over to. Just be patient. For instance, right here, you have to wait till they pass you to walk by. And that's what I was talking about earlier, guys. Much respect to the developer. All of these levels are different types of gameplay for the most part. I mean, most of the levels are the beat 'em up style gameplay, but here, you know, we have a top-down level. We also have like a first-person on rails type of level coming up, and there's definitely some variety in gameplay. So for the developer to be able to come up with all of these different types of gameplay and gameplay mechanics for one indie game is pretty impressive. So much respect. I'm looking forward to the next game from the Supervillain dev team. Now, once we finally sneak into the office, we're going to unlock the Lost Track of Time achievement for 50 gamer score. This is for sneaking into an appointment because you were late. Alright, so once again, I'm going to be fast forwarding through this dialogue. However, these conversations here in the break room are pretty funny. Highly recommend reading them. especially because some of the stuff is going to make sense to you, like why there's printer enemies and things like that. Now, the next level we're going to end up in is the bank. Your boss sent you to make a deposit. However, the bank is getting robbed by these people with like rooster and panda masks on. Now, this is where it gets a little bit harder just because some of these enemies have guns. But once again, these enemies are just a little bit easier to defeat. They don't take as much damage. So just watch out, try to stay close, do close quarters combat, because if you're too far, you might get shot with the gun and you might have to restart it. Luckily, the game saves and checkpoints in the game are really forgiving. So if you do happen to lose, you just need to start off at the beginning of this level. So after you defeat all of the robbers in the bank, you're going to end up talking to their boss, which is called Sally Safecracker. I'm going to fast forward through this dialogue, but we're going to end up having to fight her in another boss battle. She is really easy to defeat, another boss that you can just keep punching. As long as you keep hitting her with the combos, she's going to be real easy to defeat. Just don't spam X, wait to hit the combo until she stands back up, because you may end up at the end or in the middle of a combo when she gets up. So you want her to take all 3 hits in that combo. After she's defeated, we're going to unlock the Put the Money in the Bag achievement for 100 gamer score for completing the bank heist level. Next, you're going to end up in a few more conversations. I'm going to fast forward through these. But once you're in the break room next to the fridge talking to Joshua, after Joshua says, "We may have to commit you at this rate," it's going to give you a dialogue option. Right here is a missable achievement. You need to make sure you press A, which is I actually had a dream about printers. Now we're going to end up in like a first-person shooter, but on the rails type of level. At first I was having a lot of trouble with this level, but it's because I didn't know the controls. You can press start to look at the controls. You could take cover by holding X. That's one of the main things that I had no idea you could do. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of, taking cover. There are some sections where you stop on the rails though that do not offer any cover. You also have a grenade that you can use with the Y button. You want to save that grenade until you have the biggest group of enemies, which is going to be coming up. You'll see when I use the grenade. You also have a shotgun that you could switch to. I think you switch to the shotgun by pressing RB. Now right here is where I recommend throwing your grenade. That's where you're going to have the biggest group of enemies. It should kill all of them. May leave one behind. If it does, just go ahead and shoot that last one. Next, we're going to have an option to either take the left path or the right path. The left path is definitely the easiest path, so make sure that you take the left. Now, as you can see, I've saved up most of my shotgun bullets. That's because the shotgun bullets do not reload. Once you use all the shotgun bullets, you will only have your pistol left. Here is where I recommend pulling out the shotgun. This is towards the end of this little first-person shooter level, so it's going to go slow motion once you pull up to these enemies. From what I could tell, these enemies took a little more damage than the previous ones. That's why I recommend using the shotgun on them. Also, you could hold X to take cover behind that truck. Once you defeat that last group of enemies, we're going to be finishing it up. All you need to do is walk over here. You have a little cutscene, and then you want to pick up the little floppy disk. That's going to push us out of this level. We're going to unlock that missable achievement called Down on a Farm for completing the farm level. That is one of the missable levels. If for some reason you missed it, you could use the cheat to go back and do it via scene select. Now again, we have another missable achievement right here. When Gus offers you some of his chili, you want to press A. Unfortunately, I already ate. After this, you guys are going to get along, and he's going to ask you if you want to know about his movie idea. What we're going to need to do is press A to accept his movie pitch. That's going to unlock the movie star achievement for 50 gamer score. Now I edited through it, but you do have to defeat this like supervillain printer. You just have to swing the bat at it and defeat a couple waves, and you're going to get past that. Next, we're going to have some more dialogue. Gonna go ahead and fast forward through that. We're going to have a dialogue option. We can press either of them on this one. Either way, it's going to end up resulting in this grocery store level where we face a horde of zombies. Luckily, these zombies barely take any damage, and we can hit a lot of them at the same time once they group up. After you defeated the last zombie in the grocery store, your achievement's going to pop, called There's Always Room for Zombies for 50 gamer score for completing the zombie level. Next, we're going to have some more dialogue. It's going to be with the HR lady. You're just complaining about your boss because he keeps sending you on these missions where you're almost killing yourself. After that conversation, we're going to end up in this western scene. Doesn't matter what you press for the dialogue option there. Either way, we're going to end up having to fight a bunch of cowboys. Now when this level starts, you will find a gun on the floor. You need to pick it up using the punch button, and then we can use the punch button to shoot the gun. Now you're just going to need to spam X the punch button until we've shot all of these cowboys. You're going to want to make sure that you move around here and there just because they do shoot back, and you don't want to get caught up in getting shot consecutively by these guys. This may take, anywhere from 2 to 3 tries to get this level done, just because it's a little more difficult with them shooting. You also got to watch out for these cannons. Personally, I never got hit by them though. Once you defeated the last cowboy, your achievement's going to pop for fastest gun in the West for 100 gamer score for completing the Wild West level. Now we're going to end up in another boss battle. In this boss battle, we're going to have the quickest draw. To do that, it's going to pop up with a 3-button combination. You need to type in those 3 buttons before the CPU does. It's pretty easy. Do it 3 times and you're going to defeat the boss. There is no achievement related to defeating the boss. Next, your boss is going to send you on another deadly mission. This time you're going to the mine. This is going to be filled with different types of animals. This time we have no way to attack. You only could jump. So this level is more about just dodging the enemies and being careful and patient as you progress through the level to make sure that you don't get hit by enemies or don't fall down any of these bottomless pits. Basically, it's just some side-scrolling platforming going on here, just dodging and advancing through the level. So just advance to the right hand side and eventually you're going to finish the level. Just make sure that you don't get hit by any enemies. After you've completed the level, your achievement is going to pop for 50 gamer score called Mountain Man for completing the mountain level. Sorry if I said mining level earlier. I don't know why I said it was the mine. I think it's because of something he said in the dialogue. But it is considered the mountain level. Next, you're going to end up at this bar with this Gandalf style bartender. What we need to do is press sounds fun. He's asking you if you want to play a trivia game. You need to elect to play the trivia game because there is an achievement related to it. Now he's going to ask you a bunch of random trivia questions. You can pause the game and Google the answers. That's what I did. I believe you need to get 7 out of the 10 correct to pass the trivia game. So just make sure that you pause it, look up the answer, and it's as simple as that. Once you've had enough correct answers, you're going to get your achievement for completing the trivia. That achievement is going to be worth 50 gamer score. It's called Look at the Brain on Doug. That is for completing the trivia level. Not too sure if you can miss that one. I think you can though if you don't elect to do the trivia with him. So make sure that you don't miss that one. If you do happen to miss it, you can use the cheat code and go back with the scene select. So this is the end of the game. You have your work party. The boss is going to announce that unfortunately nobody's getting their end of the year bonuses, and you're going to get pissed off and want to fight him. Now this boss was actually really difficult. I had to hit up the developer and ask for some tips and tricks on how to defeat him. And really the key to defeating him seems to be the drop kick. If you know how to do the drop kick, you can defeat this boss really easily. All you need to do is wait till he knocks down. Once he's about to stand up, you want to jump and drop kick him. That way, right when he stands up, he gets hit with the drop kick. You're going to rinse and repeat this until he is defeated. After you've defeated the last boss, we're going to get our last achievement worth 200 gamer score called Comeuppance for completing the game and giving Mr. Smith his comeuppance. I was not familiar with what that word meant. I'm not too sure if I'm stupid or if that's a common word, but apparently means getting what they deserved. And there we go, guys. That was a pretty awesome indie game for the price. On top of that, it was an easy completion. If for any reason you missed any of the achievements, you can go back and use the cheat code to do scene select and go ahead and nab those achievements. That way you don't have to play the game all over again. Once again, shout out to Supervillain Games. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe.